Locked in baseball, Saturday, November 1st. Oh my goodness. I'm William Locke. He's Luis Barranco. We just witnessed one of the greatest series, the greatest game sevens in the history of baseball. Dodgers win their second straight World Series, beating the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4 in 11 innings. Luis, I don't know what we just watched.
I mean, we saw everything this series, my guy. It's Sunday. Daylight savings time is tonight. So thankfully I get an hour back of my night tonight, hopefully, for that extra innings debacle. But hey, man, I mean, we saw everything. We saw benches clear. We saw double plays. We saw bunts. It was overall a great series when we look back at it. Congrats to the LA Dodgers to clinching their series. I mean, we can talk about when the tide turned. I mean, Miggy Rojas with the homer, Andy Pages with the elite defensive play over Kike Hernandez to save the day, and then we got to talk about Will Smith hitting a ball in the middle end, his sweet spot like he did earlier in the series, and the rest is history. Yoshinobu Yamamoto again repeats history,
gosh.
like the 2023 Japan series where he came in, pitched the night before, and then tonight he closes it out. Like, we got to talk about how great of a series was. Like, baseball, you have given us a good end of the season.
I don't know where to start. There's so much to get to. I think in terms of big picture, this series in the context historically, in a historical context, I never thought anything would touch 2016. And this is from series I remember. From series I remember, I don't think anything, or I didn't think anything was ever going to touch 2016 Cubs over then Cleveland Indians. 2001, I know, was a great one. I don't really remember that series. That series was incredible. 97 was good, but this is right there up with the best, certainly the best World Series of the 21st century. It's in that conversation up there with 2016 and 2001. I think those are the two true standouts. Yes, over 2019. This series, this game had everything. These teams were so evenly matched, and they fought tooth and nail every single game in this series. And the Dodgers won the craziest back and forth game seven of our lifetimes. You know, the Cubs game seven was incredible as well. I think this one had a little bit more extra juice. It didn't have that historical context of, the crazy long World Series drought that the Cubs had, but this had everything. I mean, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 96 pitches on game 6 last night on Friday, 34. We were saying maybe a batter or an inning in game 7, and he went 34 pitches, 2 2/3 to close it out. And it's not like he was, struggling up there. He was elite. Only gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, had the strikeout, got the nice ground ball double play to Kirk to end the game. Like, they were talking Grover Cleveland and Randy Johnson, the only 2 players to pitch in game 6 and then pitch again in game 7 in World Series history. He is in the record books now as an iconic World Series performance this whole series. And we said that if they were going to win, he's going to win MVP. We're recording live right now. It's 12:30 Eastern. I don't think MVP has officially been named, but it's one of the greatest World Series performances in the history of the sport. Truly legendary stuff from Yamamoto. I can't even, I'm not trying to speak like in hyperbole, but it was that good.
I mean, we're going to have that conversation this offseason when we do the ranking of the pitcher. He's clearly an S-tier pitcher. It's just a matter of where you rank him. Do you think he's better than Skeens? Do you think he's better than Skubal? And I don't want to get trapped in prison in the moment, but I think the debate of him being the second best pitcher in the game behind Skeens is right then and there. I mean, talk about what a performance, mowing down 2 innings of work, essentially. And it wasn't 2 innings, but he mowed down 2 innings and 2/3, which is even crazier. I mean, Blake Snell was all right tonight, didn't have his best stuff, which, I mean, that's throughout his series. But like Yamamoto, hey, that $325 million is completely worth it. I mean, back-to-back World Series, and I mean, he's going to be the World Series MVP. I said last night he should be the World Series MVP, and you were like, I don't know, they might give it to Ohtani. But thinking bigger picture, talking about this series, about tonight, I mean, we'll talk about inflection points here soon. But I mean, the Dodgers bats, the big boys showed up. I mean, Ohtani, for his bad start, not bad, but average start, went 2 for 5 with a walk. Freddie Freeman went 1 for 6, which is okay. Freddie Freeman two for not Freddie Freeman. Mookie Betts went 2 for 3. Two walks and 3 at bats, and then Max Muncy was stone cold throughout the whole series. Goes 3 for 4 with a homer tonight and a walk. I mean, the Dodgers bat showed up. I mean, it wasn't that explosion that you expected, but I mean, they definitely showed up, and I mean, they came up in those big moments that Blue Jays had every opportunity to win the game tonight. I mean, the Ernie Clement, even before Ernie Clement, Dalton Varsho. Tonight with Alejandro Kirk, they had a chance to win it, and they just weren't able to, and it's just unfortunate. So,
let's wait on the Toronto perspective for now. There's a lot we can go to. I think one of the interesting storylines, or one of the things we'll remember, obviously, from the World Series is the heroes. And I was thinking about it, like, how can you not be romantic about baseball in the sense that, yes, Yamamoto and Will Smith are, the probably the heroes that are going to be remembered when we look back on this game in 20 years from now. But they don't win this game without the unsung hero of Miguel Rojas, not only hitting the home run in the 9th inning to tie the game, making that crazy defensive play in the bottom half of the inning where he, Varsho hit a pretty solidly hit ground ball to him at second base. He stumbles and then throws it home, gets the out by a centimeter. Will Smith came off the base, came back on. That would have been the World Series over. Blue Jays win. The Blue Jays were 90 feet away from winning the World Series, and he made that play. And then after the play, one of my favorite things, he was, hands on knees, head looking down. You could tell he was so nervous. He looked so nervous to the point that I thought he might throw up. Like, he was that nervous. Everyone was so nervous. So Rojas was a hero. Also, Andy Pajes, a guy that struggled this whole postseason. He was terrible at the plate. He makes an incredible catch in left center field on the warning track over Kike Hernandez, colliding into each other. He's a hero for making that catch. Like, so yes, the big money guys in Yamamoto, Will Smith are the big heroes that we'll remember long term. But like, the Dodgers don't win this game. They don't win this series with the guys like Miguel Rojas and Andy Pajes. And I just think baseball is one of the few sports, if not the only sport, where guys like that can make such big impact plays in the biggest games of the whole season. So I tip my cap to those guys. I'm happy for them, obviously. Historic. They're in the history books. Incredible.
I mean, I'll say this, to quote again, I'm bringing up one of our friends of ours. To every really good movie, there, you have your main actors. You have your, Oscar movies has the best actor and the best spec actors in the leading role. And for the Dodgers, you had, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Will Smith. But to make a best film and a best picture, you need good supporting actors. And tonight, that was Miggy Rojas, Will Klein in Game 3. We also forget about, Andy Pajes with that play. Jamel Dean last night putting his hands up. I mean, there's Justin Dean. There's so many players that played a role that when you look at this World Series, like everybody, it was all hands on deck tonight, and that's what we see out of the Dodgers winning. It wasn't just one singular guy; it was a team collective effort, and that's what's beautiful about baseball. Baseball is one of those games that it's not like basketball where one player can just take over and dominate a game and change the game on its head. It's very hard to impact baseball with one player. The batter only gets minimum 3 tries to hit the ball if it's a perfect game. And a pitcher, if he's lucky, only gets through 6 to 7 innings. He rarely gets through a complete game. So to impact a game like everybody did tonight and throughout the series, it just deserves kudos to the Dodgers.
Absolutely. Full team effort tonight in this series. Another thing on the Dodgers, I feel like the Dodgers won this World Series, this crazy World Series, and they didn't play their best baseball. I think it's safe to say they were not at their best in this World Series, and they still won. If you look at the numbers, and I'll say, the pitching was good in spurts, but the hitting, they hit 203 in this series with a 658 OPS as a team. The Blue Jays hit 269 with a 745 OPS. The Dodgers had 11 home runs to the Blue Jays 8, which is, we always talk about needing slug to win the series.
They won the homer battle.
It was a homer battle. They won the homer battle. In terms of the pitching staff, the Dodgers pitching staff had a 3.95 ERA. You really didn't have Blake Snell was not his best self. Tyler Glasnow, same thing. Ohtani was fine. Yamamoto, that goes back to like just Yamamoto being so impressive in this series. He carried them. He won game 2, game 6, and game 7 for him. That's why he's the MVP of the series. But I feel like the Dodgers, and the numbers kind of bear it out. The Blue Jays statistically had the better series. They played the better baseball, but the Dodgers they showed up in those moments. The Freddie Freeman walk-off home run in game 3. This game, all of the moments. Game 6, Yamamoto, like they stepped up when they needed to. They didn't play their best baseball. There were times in the series where they looked terrible. That lineup looked terrible. I mean, Mookie Betts was struggling majorly, and they still won.
It's all about star power. And, Joe Davis brought up on telecast tonight on Fox that, the Dodgers have the lowest batting average to win a World Series since the 1918 Boston Red Sox, which was led by Babe Ruth. So that is a crazy statistic to think about. Wow. And I mean, look, with the Dodgers, star power prevails. And I mean, they're giving every cent that they paid for with those guys. And I mean, they didn't play their good baseball. They didn't play their best series. And, there's arguments saying that, last year's team was stronger. But this year, you had Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, and Tyler Glasnow pitching comparative to last year, which they didn't have those. They didn't have Blake Snell pitching last year versus
Ohtani last year.
Exactly.
Ohtani last year. This team, I think, was better than last year's team.
Pitching wise, yes, but hitting wise, I don't know. Well, it's debatable.
Yeah, it's basically the same lineup. Just this year, they weren't hitting at all, and that's a testament to the Blue Jays pitching. Like the Blue Jays they pitch well in this series.
And let's do the Blue Jays spin. I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to the Blue Jays. I mean, look, man, let's go the inflection points. I mean, they were on it in the 3rd inning with that. Bo Bichette hit that moonshot. Out to center field. It was ridiculous. It was out the yard. Like
442.
I thought 42. And then, in the 6th inning, Dodgers, it wasn't like the Dodgers came back by one swing. It was death by 1,000 cuts, as I'd like to think about it. In the 6th inning, you see that big play in the bottom of the 6th with Andres Jimenez doubling on the line drive and Ernie Clement came in, which Ernie Clement broke the record tonight for most postseason hits over Randy Rosarena. And he was so close to ending it in the 9th. And, after that point, they had a great defense. They played I don't want to say a perfect because perfection doesn't exist, but they played a great game defensively with that Vladimir Guerrero gunning. Instead of going for the force at first, he goes to second. They do that play, Vladimir Guerrero making that play on the scoop job at first base. Like, it really did feel that it was the Blue Jays' night tonight. But, I mean, the Dodgers came back and just like that.
Yeah, the one mistake I feel like they made was that Springer strike him out, throw him out where he thought it was ball 4. That was all the way back in the 1st inning. That was a sloppy mistake. But other than that, yeah, they played a flawless game.
Other than that, they played a flawless game. Like, yeah, they didn't bring runners home. I mean, we can say the same thing about the Dodgers. I mean, it's just who got the hit at the moments, and it falls again in the playoffs, in the postseason, in the World Series. It matters who makes the big moments, who comes in clutch, who shows up, who is an actual dog and makes the play.
3 for 17 with runners in scoring position for the Blue Jays tonight. The Dodgers weren't much better. They were 1 for 11, but the Blue Jays left 14 on.
But they did it when it counted. And that's at the end of the day what we're all going to think about. Like, we had that Max Muncy towering shot in the 8th, and Miggy Rojas, like,
those were just, it was 3 solo shots. It wasn't like with runners in scoring position. They came up with the 3 swings of the bat that mattered the most in this game, obviously.
And Will Smith, they did it. Death by 1,000 cuts. And at the end of the day, like, sucks to suck. The Blue Jays had a lot of men on base, but, I mean, you didn't make those plays. You played a great game, and you had all the bounces go your way tonight. But when it was time to step on the cockroach and kill him, you didn't make the play, unfortunately. And that's at the end of the day why we are here in this position, why we're crowning the Dodgers as the 2025 Major League Baseball World Series champion tonight.
I mean, if I was a Blue Jays fan, I think I'd have to go in hiding for a few weeks.
Do you want me to give you the? You want me to give you the positive Blue Jays spin?
There's a positive Blue Jay spin tonight.
Yes. It's like, you're breaking up with your girlfriend, and at first it sucks, it stinks, you're really hurt, but later on, you'll be a bigger person, and you'll be a better person for your future girlfriend, and you'll get a better girlfriend later on, not better, but somebody that suits you better and like you get along with. And that's what I feel like tonight is for the Blue Jays. I mean, tonight does stink that you were 2 outs away from finishing the job, but let's think about it.
See, they were 90 feet away.
Yeah, 90 feet. You were inches away. You can make the argument, because of the whole spike debacle.
You'll pretty much never. Sorry, you'll pretty much never get closer to winning a World Series than the Blue Jays did without actually winning it. I think that it doesn't get any closer.
It's a tough pill to swallow. I get it, and it's hard to get there. Like we talk about, it takes a lot of lucky bounces, and it's like with every professional sports, like it's a lot of like being good, but also being there at the right time. And that's the thing.
Luck.
When you look at the AL next year, okay, say you don't bring back Bichette, you have to trust that Toronto will somehow replace him with another like Ernie Clement, Nathan Lucas type of dude in that lineup. Yes, he's great, but I think they'll shell out the money. I think he'll return. Okay, the AL next year is not as hard as this year. The Yankees are a big question mark with what their rotation is going into next year, and all their lineup is pretty old. We can just be honest to admit it. Stanton, Judge, we don't know what they're going to start at shortstop. Like, we don't know what they are. They have a lot of question marks. Detroit, might not have Skubal, and they have free agents like Gleyber Torres. And in the West, the only team you have to worry about is Seattle, and their lineup is going the other way because they have the free agency of Josh Naylor coming up and here Eugenio Suarez. Will they be paying them? And then Houston will be healthy, but Houston is an aging team. And if you put Houston and Toronto back to back, because I kind of think like in a perfect world, if Houston's fully healthy and they're there next year, I think Toronto will be there. I would put my money on Toronto. And we've seen also that Toronto's ownership group is willing to spend. They're willing to give out contracts. And I think tonight will show that ownership group, and I think for fans will be like, hey, we were, like we said, inches away, 90 feet away.
Twice.
That why not go all in next year? Go get another starting pitcher. Go get a little bit more rotation help. Go get bullpen help. Go just, they're a really well-built team. Like we said, they had a lot of pieces. And we did see that the Dodgers had no trust in their pieces tonight.
Yeah, because the Dodgers pitched all 4 of their starting pitchers in a Game 7. That's probably never happened before. I get it. I get the angle that the AL is not incredible next year. You still have to get through the AL and then win the World Series. Also, like, we talk about it, like all of the luck, think of how tough that series was against Seattle to get through that, have the moments in that series, to battle all the way through the World Series, get to in Game 7. And, you play 162 games in the regular season, played probably close to 20 games in the postseason. And it comes down to literally centimeters, inches, whatever, with Will Smith's foot, and it doesn't go your way. Like, you'll never get that close to winning a World Series without actually winning it. So yes, I know that next year with the way the AL is shaping up, like they could make it back, but dude, I mean, that is, if I'm a Blue Jays fan, that stays with you for the rest of your life. Like, you were that close. I don't know. I feel for them tonight. I do.
I'm sorry. That's just baseball.
I don't think this has ever happened before in baseball. So.
No, I think this whole series was a whole, like, it broke records in ways we didn't think it was going to happen. Like, Ernie Clement breaking the postseason hit record.
Most innings in a World Series ever, like collective.
Most innings. Will Smith broke the record for most innings caught in the World Series history. You also see like benches clearing on Game 7, bullpens clearing. Like, things happened that shouldn't have happened. Like, it was getting crazy to the point when we were watching Game 3, they were actually saying, "Oh, we haven't seen a double play happen tonight." Mm-hmm. And a double play happening is much more common than going 18 innings or seeing home runs. To be honest, I mean, the probability of those chances.
Yeah. By the way, Yamamoto officially MVP.
I mean, are we surprised?
No.
No. like I said, we're gonna go into 2 or 3 weeks from now when we're at home and we're doing the podcast again. When we're at home and we're recording and we're doing our tier list of pitchers, we're gonna be debating where do we put Yamamoto? Is he 2 or 3?
Yeah, I mean, Scooble, even Skeens, they haven't done this. They haven't done this.
No, they haven't won at the highest level and in multiple leagues. It's not like let's be honest, the MPB isn't just a farmers league. The Nippon Baseball League isn't like Nippon Professional Baseball isn't like just a bunch of dudes that are like dentists on part time, or like they or they stock shelves at Walmart when they're not playing the game. These are actual professional guys. You see a lot of guys from America that are in the minor league system go overseas and play there. So it's like he's doing it against good comp. Yeah. So it's like he's getting to the point where that resume is looking first ballot.
It's still 2 years. He's gonna. It's gonna take some time.
He got but it's the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. It's the Baseball Hall of Fame. He has a Sawamura. He has a 2 World Series, a Cy Young. Like, he has a lot of accolades that, I get it. You think about the accolades here in America, but when you look at the ones that he did in Japan, he's a 5-time All-Star in Japan. He's a Japanese Series champion in 2022, 3-time Triple Crown, 3-time Pacific League MVP, 3-time Sawamura, 3-time Gold Glove, 4-time ERA champion in the Pacific League, and 4-time strikeout champion and 3-time Twin Leaguer. And he has 2 no-hitters. Like, he's just scratching the surface here in America. And he has gold medals within the Olympics and WBC. So it's like...
Yeah. The Hall of Fame didn't factor in Ichiro's hits in that league. So I don't think the Japanese stats translate over to America. It's not owned by Major League Baseball, and to your point, it is the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know how much they would weigh the Japanese stats, but yeah, either way, like 2 years in Major League Baseball, 2 World Series MVP. We'll see if he gets a Cy Young. He's still in his 20s. Like, he's got a lot of career left. Who knows how many World Series he wins? He'll be in the Hall of Fame if he, continues at this pace. And I think he's got the stuff too. Because what I love about Yamamoto is, like, he gets a lot of strikeouts, and you could say he's a strikeout pitcher, but he doesn't he's not seeking out the strikeout the way some power arms are. It's like, oh, it's nice to get strikeouts if you're him, but he doesn't seek them out.
He's not hunting. It's like tonight. He needed a double play. He got the double play. He got that pitch right there. That grounder, that chopper up the middle. Boom, perfect. Like I said, I think. What's up?
Can I ask you a question on that? So it was Kirk. They pitched around Barger to get to Kirk in that situation.
I wouldn't mind that.
And no, I know. I just thought it was like a little like, oh, okay, you pitch around Barger. That's the winning run on first. The thought crossed my mind. It's probably a stupid thought, but do you pinch hit for Kirk in that situation just because he's so slow? And if he hits anything on the ground, it's game over, World Series over. You're not bringing in Taylor Heineman at that point. I think they used their whole bench at that point.
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
Like what I would have done if I am in the shoes of John Schneider. I would have pinch ran for Kirk in the bottom of the 9th when he got hit by the pitch, and I would have put Heineman. I know that I understand that hey, baseball happens, and then they ended up getting 2 outs back to back. But I mean, you got to put yourself in the best position to get insurance runs, and especially when you're after that, that inning, you had to face, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez. That was your next up. I would have definitely put in Heineman for running purposes like he did in Game 3. But, yeah. I mean, look, if you're looking – I'm not going to criticize managerial decisions because I think we'll go on and on for hours on this. But Dave Roberts managed a great game tonight, going with his gut, with Miguel Rojas and Andy Pajes, everything, and so did John Schneider.
I thought he left Ohtani in for too long, and it doesn't matter now because they won the game. He didn't have his stuff tonight. He could tell he was a little tired early. He was wild.
He didn't get his sleep in, so
he didn't get his sleep in. And I thought he left him in for probably a batter too long. Bichette hits the homer. That's maybe my only gripe with Dave Roberts. He did go with Wrobleski first out of the pen, which I thought was a little bit surprising with Glasnow available. Obviously, it worked out. Wrobleski worked through an inning and a third, did pretty well. And then Glasnow did not have his stuff. So, he wasn't his best. Sheehan was good.
Just trying to get some length. He was just trying to get some length out of somebody. He needed somebody to like bridge the gap. And that's what tonight was.
So, yeah, Scherzer, by the way, haven't even mentioned his name. 4 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned, a walk, 3 Ks. Iconic, legendary career. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Varland was the next guy, and then if you look at their third through 6 guys pitching, Bassett, Savage, and Hoffman all gave up home runs out of the pen, and then Bieber, the other starter, alongside Bassett and Savage, gave up the game-winning home run for the Dodgers. The pen didn't have it tonight for the Blue Jays. That's a story.
It was just average. I mean, the dam was going to break one of these days, in my opinion. And unfortunately, it was tonight. And nobody was great pitching-wise, and nobody was awful.
There were a lot of missquandered opportunities from both sides tonight.
And that's what it comes down to, squandered opportunities, especially from the Blue Jays, my guy.
1 run after the third. They came in the 6th. Death by, like your point, they kept tacking on, scoring 1 run at a time. The Dodgers didn't score 2 runs on 1 play this whole game. 3 solo shots won it at the end. I mean, it's just crazy. And I will say, like, I know it's really tough right now as a Blue Jays fan. Like, you're going to be thinking about this forever, for the rest of your life. I still think a year from now, who knows how long it takes you to go through the however many stages of healing there are. When they are able to look on the season retrospectively, they can absolutely be proud with what their team did this season. Think about it. Heading into the season, no expectations whatsoever. Most people are picking you to finish last in the division, right? You're like 26 and 28 toward the end of May, very average team, under 500 at the end of May. Everyone's kind of writing you off at that point still. No one thinks anything of the Blue Jays. Then they go on this crazy run. They sweep the Yankees in July. They take over the division lead. They win the division on the last day of the regular season. Then they make the playoffs as the 1 seed, the best team in the American League. Even that would have been a successful season for the Jays. No one had them even making the playoffs really heading into the season. Then you look in the playoffs, they destroy the Yankees in the DS. The CS, they lose the first 2 games at home. Then they go into Seattle, win 2 out of 3 there, but they're down 3-2 heading back to Toronto. You win the 2 games in Toronto. You win the series in 7. Crazy game 7. George Springer hits the home run. Hoopla, crazy. Then you go to the World Series. You lose that crazy 18-inning game in game 3. You win the next 2. And, I mean, you come 90 feet away from winning the World Series twice, centimeters away with the whole tag at home or the force out at home with Will Smith. They had an incredible season. Ernie Clement breaking the record for most hits in a postseason. Like, so many guys to celebrate, so many great performances. Trey Savage. I mean, the guy was playing A-ball. He was drafted in 2024. No one thought he was even going to make the major leagues. They throw him in September toward the end of the season just to see what he has heading into the postseason. Maybe as a bullpen guy. Ends up being arguably their most important starter in the postseason. Like, so many great stories with this Jays team. Vladimir Guerrero, just going crazy all postseason. Like, they have so much to be proud of. I know it sucks tonight. It's going to suck for a while, but like, tip my cap to that team, to that organization. I hope they're good for a long time, because as a Yankee fan, this is coming from a Yankee fan, I want the Blue Jays to be good because they will challenge the Yankees to get better. And that's something you need in the division. The Red Sox and the Blue Jays, I think, are both going to challenge the Yankees to get better. And that's what you want. You want good teams in your division. So I tip my cap to the Jays.
And both teams have cornerstones in Vladimir Guerrero. We talk about Vladimir Guerrero on the Jays, and we talk about Trey Savage. You can think about him as a cornerstone from moving forward. Red Sox have cornerstones as well. I mean, the Jays, what they did this postseason, I mean, you went through a gauntlet of pitchers. You had to go through the Yankees gauntlet of pitchers of Fried, Rodon, and Schlittler. And then they had to go to Seattle's gauntlet of pitchers. They had Wu, they had Castillo, Gilbert, and George Kirby. And now we look at it now, they go through the Dodgers, and yeah, they came 1 game short because of one guy pitching wise who dominated, but you had to go through Yamamoto, Ohtani, Glasnow, and you cannot forget the other guy that they went through.
Snell.
Exactly.
Yeah, to your point, I do want to say like they made the Dodgers look mortal, and I don't think we can underestimate the fact or underestimate just how many people were picking the Dodgers heading into the series, ourselves included. We both picked the Dodgers to win this series in 5 and 6, respectively. And every media outlet I was seeing was picking the Dodgers. No one was really giving the Blue Jays much of a chance, and they made the Dodgers look mortal. Their pitching completely shut down Dodger bats for pretty much this whole series. They came back after the crazy 18 inning game. They, were able to get to Dodger pitching, which, just hadn't been done all postseason. Everyone thought, oh, well, the Dodgers pitching is so good. That's what's going to carry them. It was ultimately Yamamoto that carried them and some timely hitting, but the Blue Jays played a better series. They played better baseball than the Dodgers this series. And they came up short. So I do credit the Blue Jays. I feel like they gave maybe some organizations, some fans hope against the Dodgers. Ultimately, like now we're looking at like, okay, this could be a legit dynasty here. We could see a 3-peat, 4-peat. Who knows? Because they'll probably bring Tucker. Like that's another conversation.
A new way to build a team. So,
and I think
yeah,
it is going to be a way teams look at building, and I hope we get away from this 3 true outcome stuff. I think we're starting to see a lot of teams and organizations move away from that. The Blue Jays are the epitome of not being 3 true outcomes. They don't, if you look at the postseason stats, I'm just pulling it up. They led so they led the postseason in home runs, 28. But they only had 128 strikeouts, which was still less than the Mariners. The Blue Jays finished with less strikeouts than the Mariners, a team that played wow, this is actually insane. So the Blue Jays had 667 at-bats in the postseason. They struck out 128 times. The Mariners had 409, so over 200 less at-bats than the Blue Jays, and they struck out one more time, 129 times. That just shows you that the Blue Jays, yes, they led all of baseball in home runs in the postseason, but they're not selling out for the home runs. They're not 3 true outcomes. I think this was very attractive, pretty baseball to watch. They put the ball in play. They put pressure on the defense. They grind at bats, and they don't strike out. And I think this should be a blueprint that teams take moving forward. I know they're like 5th in payroll or something, like they have, those big money contracts on there, but a lot of guys like Ernie Clement, Addison Barger, those aren't the big money guys. So I think this does give teams that maybe aren't given out mega contracts some hope. And I do hope that teams look at this blueprint, the way the Blue Jays got so close to winning a World Series, like, okay, we can win this way too. It doesn't have to be just home runs and strikeouts. And I'm looking at you, Yankees.
You couldn't have said it best with that one. So, I mean, one thing I did not enjoy with the Dodgers dark arts, but that is a conversation that will never win. Talking about how Ohtani was going into the dugout, taking his time when he was on base. I mean, there was a couple of things. I don't think the Dodgers were being cool. Just, I caught on.
Yeah.
Some getting some extra time,
I feel like that would have been a bigger conversation if, I don't know, Ohtani went deep into the game or something.
Yeah.
But ultimately it'll probably be forgotten. But yeah, I do think he was probably milking that a little bit, taking a little too long.
So
yeah, that was some gamesmanship. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else? I mean, this was iconic World Series. It goes down there with some of the best. Like I said, 2016, 2019, 2001. It's in those conversations now. We're very lucky to have a great series like this.
It does. I have nothing more. I think you said everything best. You took the words out of my mouth when you said put the ball in play and whatnot. So great season. Cheers to finishing another season. I know it's an empty cup, but cheers.
Yep. That's our season.
First full season, like actual double up season. Like it was
this was our first season, do twice a week and like really focusing on posting content out there to socials. And like we said, we've grown more than we ever have this season. So thank you guys for the support. Almost to 1,000 followers on Instagram, over 1,100 on TikTok right now. So thanks for the support. keep subscribing on YouTube as well. We're up to 193 subscribers, so trying to get to 200 before the end of the year. Appreciate all the support this season. We're not taking a break. We'll be back next week. I think we'll probably have some spillover thoughts from this World Series that we just weren't able to get to today.
Data dump, probably. So
some stats and everything. Just as we get some perspective on the series, we'll add some additional thoughts in that episode. Maybe we'll just do that separate episode for that. And then I think we're going to have our awards, and then we'll start pivoting toward the off season and previewing everything there. So I don't know. This was incredible theater.
William,
I don't think any sport can top this. No sport can top the drama that baseball provides.
William, it's been a pleasure, my guy. Another season in the books.
Another season in the books.
And to many more.
To many more, I agreed. Congratulations to the Dodgers, back-to-back champions. First time since the Yankees did that in the late 90s, early 2000s. Well-deserved. And congratulations to the Blue Jays on an incredible season as well. Any final thoughts, Luis?
None at all. I'm about to go celebrate the Dodgers win.
All righty. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week. Until then, peace out.